Give me all your might, Guy. Yes, ma'am, Lee exclaimed, and motorboated her gluteus maximus with the fire of youth. All right, now I'm going to go for sexy.
Dripping down dripping. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go.
That is fucking
incredible.
There we go. Okay.
No, there we go.
I'm going to go for a sexy
hear your
read
sexy
now.
voice.
All right.
I got to mute myself. There we go.
Okay. That should do it. So, whenever you're ready, if you would so kindly please start us off, oh great Sensei Jordan.
Okay. Well, howdy do. Are you ready, youngins? Are you ready for another? The missus here is going to give you a good old-fashioned podcast. Isn't that right, Miss Katy Johnson? I think she's going to do it good for you now. All right now, boys. Let's get ready for the Weird Flex and the OK Pocket. You take it away, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Stanley Joe Jensen Billy Bob Joe the Third, for that beautiful intro.
I'm a mover
Hey guys,
now.
Welcome to the Weird Flex But Okay podcast, your comedy weebs, workouts, and advice podcast where we answer your questions. If you would like to submit a question, please email us at weirdflexbutokpodcast@gmail.com. The music you've heard in every episode so far is from What's My Name on Instagram and Soundcloud, and I swear our intros get weirder every time, and Jordan is to thank for that.
You see, my voice
I'm sorry.
is moving good
Billy
for you.
Billy Bo Job the Third, Winston, Houston, Texas, Mrs. Marshall the Third.
Oh, come on now, Mrs. You know you don't gotta call me all that now.
My name is Mrs. Billy Bo Job Jenkins the 18th.
Oh, good for
Sir.
you now, Mrs.
I miss Elmo. Elmo was better.
No, Elmo, don't you go talking about
Give me
that
back
red
Jordan,
little boy.
guys. I'm currently holding a knife up to this imposter until Jordan gets back. You have 5 seconds to bring me back my co-host, or I will eat all of your peanut M&Ms.
They moving now, Mrs. My
Your
feet,
peanut
they moving
M&Ms
real
will
good.
be mine.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan?
What's up? Hey.
Jordan, I missed you.
No, you didn't. But okay, I'm back.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yay! How has your week been, Jordan?
It's all right.
You know, before you were kidnapped by Billy Bo Johnson, the
I wasn't
third of 18th.
kidnapped. That was just the helper around the house. He
Oh,
worked
okay.
for you. And so
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know what you just did. That was really wrong. But yeah, I was fine. I was watching. It was pretty boring. I just worked on a video all week, and then me and my friends we did this thing. We played this Reddit game, and it was it made us just go, oh shit. It almost gave us one of those what's it called when you overthink something? Point. It's oh shit, if this didn't happen, existential crisis or some shit like that. Because we were talking about how it's crazy how if your parents didn't mate at the exact time of the exact day, you probably wouldn't be born because there are just millions and billions of stars. What are you talking? It's just yeah, you're you have to be, if you went back in time, because we could talk about Avengers spoilers now because the spoiler ban lifted. According to Twitter everywhere, the spoiler ban is lifted. So you could talk about it time travel. If you went back in time and your parents didn't hook up at the exact moment that they did, then you probably couldn't even be born because of this stuff. And I was just what? I don't like thinking about that because then we start thinking about other stuff. But then then there was this thing where it was if you die, what are the stats you would love to just see or something like that? How many people you influenced for the better? Oh, that's nice. How many people you were able to make laugh? Oh, that's nice. But then it was how many hours you procrastinate in your life? Do not show me that. I don't want to see how much I procrastinated. That's just oh God. Because it's just could you imagine how productive you could have been if you just didn't procrastinate for this many hours of your lifetime? It's just
I was living my best life when I was eating those Cheerios in my downtime.
Yeah.
Screw you, you graphic.
But see, the thing is, if you're in downtime, by all means, enjoy those Cheerios. But if you're supposed to be doing something else and you're enjoying those Cheerios, it's just I can't really enjoy my downtime because this thing is looming over me. Oh, God.
Yeah, and being able to differentiate especially when you're working from home or whatever, like when your downtime is versus when you're supposed to be on the clock can be especially hard when you're a freelancer or when you're doing like a gig where you're the boss.
Yeah.
Like it can be hard to determine, okay, can I take a break? Like I'm sure you understand that lifestyle so well.
Oh no, I do, because it's like I remember I take like breaks for my stuff, but then like it sucks because like you know what sucks about being a guy? Is like sometimes I'll be like working and it's just like it's going well, it's working. And then freaking Goliath down there is like, hey, play with me. And I'm just like, bro, I already played with you like this morning. Play with me again. I'm like, I really need to get working. But he's like,
I am going to be dehydrated if you keep fucking with me.
Exactly. And it's just like, but Jordan. And then like I'm just working. I'm like so in depth of working. It's just like boobs, butts, boobs, butts.
Yeah.
Now I got to go take care of this. And then I take care of it. Then I've got to go take an afternoon nap because of it.
Yes.
And then I wake up, and then I've, like, wasted, like an hour because of that stupid thing. So it's just like, and then it happens again, and I'm like, God damn it, wait till nighttime.
If only there was a pill you could take that makes you, like, come automatically so you
like,
just get it out.
I love talking to my asexual friends about it, because I had a, like, in-depth talk about with this with one of my asexual friends. I was like, so... do you ever just like because they were talking about like they were doing all this stuff. I was like, you are so productive, and I was just like, man, I wish I was the way. And they were like talking about it, and they were like saying like, oh, so I brought some like, so do you ever like feel like a build up or something? Because I feel like a build up if I don't. And you're like, nah, it's just like I got gas down there, I just don't got a lever. And I was just like, oh wow, that's so cool, like how you could just do it. And it was like, yeah, it is pretty interesting. I love talking about asexual friends. We have in-depth conversations all the time because I always ask like the most exciting questions. So like,
I always get curious about the health aspect of like, are you supposed to at least a certain amount of times a week or whatever release anything down there? Like does it?
I know for like
I hear it just kind of like goes back naturally in the body because like my boyfriend has a vasectomy, and so he like there's part of it down there that's never going to be released again, and then there's part of it that is released when stuff happens, but like that other part apparently just naturally gets absorbed back into the body. So it's like, is that just how it works if you never come again, or is it like you have to a certain amount of whenever do it just because your body just needs to get rid of it? Or like I can't
I'm not qualified to answer this as a straight man because I can only go like 4 hours except that 1 month I went like like that 1 month it was just like oh god, like I can tell you that 1 month that hurt. That was something to go through. That was an ordeal.
And I'm sure like libido experiences can vary between like the sexes and through the different like orientations as well, etc. Like I have moments where my libido is very like, come on bitch, and then I have periods where I'm just like but like when it strikes it's like I can't not do this. Like I mean, unless like the party isn't willing or something, then it's like, oh, okay, chill. Like I can make it go away like if I need to, but like when
you can always make it go away if you need to,
of course,
by yourself.
Of course. Yeah, it's true, but like whenever I'm by myself it's harder. But like when I'm with another person and we're just like, we're not feeling it. We're not both on the same page. I'm just like, oh, okay. And then it kind of goes away.
You can't
like,
just get Becky and Rockley to do your little...
Oh my God.
What, you don't name them?
Wait,
my finger. I'm like, you know, like I name my fingers. I'm like this is...
I thought you were talking about boobs. Like why would I name my boobs?
Well, you didn't name your boobs.
My boobs are actually named Sasha and Sally, but...
Sasha, Sally?
Yeah, I named them a long time ago. I don't remember the significance of those names.
Which one's Sasha, which one's Sally?
Left is Sasha, right is Sally.
And what's Sasha's personality?
They have no personality.
Oh, wow, okay. You didn't give them an origin story.
No, they don't have an origin story, but they do have names that I gave them in middle school, and I don't remember the context of why, but those are their names.
My man's name is Goliath.
Goliath.
Yeah. It's like a good old Goliath. I was going to name him the Truth because bitches can't handle it. But
oh my God.
Welcome to the Weird Flex But Okay podcast. If you're listening with your family.
Yeah, maybe don't do that.
No, it's okay.
Was pretty good.
Sex is okay.
I mean, yeah, it's true. Yeah, we should normalize talking about that stuff. But, you know, I can also understand maybe if you don't want to talk about sex with your family, that is an okay decision to make.
All right.
Because not that it's not okay to talk about, but just because, like, it feels weird. And that's okay. but like it's normal and fine and great and
So last week, Katy and Zach went through all these positions.
Last week, oh my god! So my week was pretty good. My weekend was really good. I had talked about finishing Persona 4 last weekend, but apparently like there was like a better ending and like a secret dungeon and stuff. So I went through and completed that and got the better ending, and it was pretty great. So my weekend was consisting of like beating that. And then we had a going away party for my friend that's moving to California to do like doctor stuff.
Who?
And I'm just like, I'm gonna miss her. You don't know her.
Scarlett?
She's my friend Scarlett. Yeah. I don't think you know her.
Yeah, I do.
Really? Was she in? Oh, she did come to my graduation
party. In your face. You were like, you don't
Scarlett,
know her. And I was just like, what, Scarlett? I knew.
It's such a rare occurrence for her to come around because she travels a lot. And like, she was focusing so much on getting her degree. Like, she does like, she is going into like psychiatry, I think, and like she wants to like prescribe medicine and stuff, and she's so smart and awesome, and I'm just like so proud of her. And so she's moving off to Cali for like the next phase of her whatever with degree stuff, but she has a degree, so I'm super proud of her. And yeah, so we had a little going away party. We played like a bunch of games and had like a fun weekend with her. And it's really sad because like in 2 weeks she's gonna be like traveling a bunch before her official move. So this was like the only weekend we could do it, because next weekend me and Zach and a bunch of friends are going to the beach for a beach episode.
Oh.
It's gonna be awesome.
Cool.
And then of course this weekend we watched some Game of Thrones.
Right.
Yes. Which actually does that bring us to our first question, Jordan?
Yeah, I think it does. Good job on ya. That's a good one right there.
Look
is
at that
me gassing the
segue.
Oh.
This episode's going to be great.
Yeah, this
and
episode's
last
gonna be
week
great.
we had an episode where we talked about a lot of spoilers. This episode is not going to be like that. This question might be a short one. So we're not going to be talking about Game of Thrones for long. Don't worry, listening audience. But we have a lot of questions in this episode that I'm really excited to answer. But yeah, our first one is Game of Thrones related. So Jordan, why don't you take us away?
Well, it's not necessarily Game of Thrones related. It just says, this one comes from my bro, Riot Hiei, aka Michael. What's up, bro? Since you both watch Game of Thrones, a series where people aren't necessarily good or bad either way, for yourselves, would you consider your morals black and white or a bit muddled gray? And I know for myself, yeah, I know. Cause
then why don't you tell us?
Okay, so for me, I've said this before, like I'm very much an anti-hero / anti-villain personality. The thing is, like most people wouldn't suspect it because like I'm so kind and calm. But the thing is, I have a different set of like, for instance, oh my god, this is beautiful. So someone asked me this on Twitter the other day of do I think my boy Jason Voorhees was like evil or something like that? I've done whole videos on this on my channel before.
Okay.
Right? And the thing is, like, I don't consider someone like Jason evil. He does evil things. I'm not condoning what he does. I mean, like, he does murder innocent people, but like the reasonings why is like different than say someone like you know, there's tons of evil people in Game of Thrones who murder people just for fun. They like do it gleefully. They do it like, oh yeah, I'm enjoying seeing this person suffer. Like that to me is evil, seeing someone like suffer and enjoying their suffering to me. But if like someone like say Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre or fucking Jason Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a killer who was bullied by his family into doing this because he was mentally handicapped and he didn't know any better. So like he was bullied into like kill these people so we can eat them, do this thing. So like I don't think because I don't consider him evil for what
that kind of raises the question of, can you separate intentions from actions once certain actions are taken to a certain place? And that's like, because there are lots of villains that don't necessarily enjoy doing the things that they do in terms of like the suffering, but they have their reasons, but they're still going to do all this shit. Like Thanos, for example, I would say is evil, even though to him, he's saving people.
Well, the thing about Thanos is like, there's a bit of a mix and match with the way they wrote him. Like, I noticed that when watching all the MCU films back to back, because like there's some scenes that he does stuff.
I mean, I haven't read a bunch of stuff. Just what I know of Thanos.
Okay. So like, there are certain scenes that Thanos does that is like, oh yeah, you're taking like evil glee in what you're doing. So like, yeah, I consider that evil. But like, okay, so all right, for instance, I'll put it to you like this: I don't consider a bear evil for eating someone, for what they do. Like, they don't have any like thought of what they're doing. Like, if you consciously know or what I'm doing, like if you're like a freaking evil person who's like, this is right, and then like you're gonna go kill people, that's one thing. But like, okay, for instance, like Jason, he'll kill people who trespass on his turf because he's a zombie revenant now. Like, he'll kill people who trespass on his turf. And, like, if you don't go on his turf, he won't fuck with you. All right, so like, don't go to his turf. Your ass is pretty much safe, except for part 8 and Jason Goes to Hell and Freddy vs. Jason. But those are whole different full paragraph stories. I can tell you all this stuff that goes along with it later on. But like, I won't do that right now. All I'll say is like, don't go on his turf. Yeah. You're fine. But then like,
but what if you're a child that doesn't know?
He doesn't kill kids.
This turf is where like, or what if you're an adult and you don't know this turf? You have no information that this turf is not supposed to be walked on. You walk on it and then he kills you.
Okay, see,
so you're saying right that's okay?
All right, so let me say this. Right there, if you don't know, then yeah, that you have my empathy. But if you like are one of those people,
and you said he kills innocents, right? So people that don't know.
No, there are people who seriously know. There are people who fucking know.
If they know, then that's one thing. But I thought you said he killed innocents, meaning they don't know. I thought you said that he killed innocents.
This going on to the topic of like what you consider innocent now, because like I have a different thing for that too. Because like if you like, because I mentioned this before, like if you go into a place, like if there are people saying, hey, don't go in that place, it's very dangerous. As long as you don't go in that place, you'll be safe and fine. But you decide, you know what, fuck, I'm gonna go anyway, and you get fucked up, then I got no empathy for you because you were warned. Like, don't go. And like,
so has he ever killed someone that didn't know that he was going to kill them?
That's the thing. I'm saying, like, if you go like, but prior to the legend and shit like that, like that's how they found out. It was like, okay, this fucking thing is there killing people, and it's like, well, what the fuck can we do? Oh, well, let's rename the place. And it's just like, oh yeah, this is fucking terrible, you know, shit like that. Like again, I'm not condoning him murdering.
I mean, I haven't seen enough of the like movies, so we don't have to make it a full discussion about Jason. But I will say, I guess for some 2 cents, I do think to a degree, even if your intentions are satisfying you, certain actions after a certain point, it can be gray, but can qualify as evil to me, despite you thinking you're doing good.
See, that's a good thing, though. Like, we have a different sense of, like, evil. Because me, I think a serial killer who's, like, going through doing, like, for instance, Michael Myers would be a better set to this. Because Michael Myers actively goes out of his way to wake up. Like, Jason doesn't wake up and go, I get to kill people today. It's just sort of like, oh, these motherfuckers trespass on my turf.
I think, regardless of your intentions, if you're murdering innocent, that can be considered evil.
No, I said that.
Regardless
like,
of
I
your
agree.
intentions.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying personality. I'm saying, like, if you're going at it from a discussion of, hey, I gleefully do this because it's fun. Like, I'm doing this because it's fun. But if, like, you're doing it because, like, okay, like, you don't know any better. Like, it's just like, oh, this is how you're programmed. This is what you snapped, mental thing. And, like, I'm not saying, like, you're... I'm not saying the person. I'm saying the actions are evil. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah.
I'm saying the actions are evil, but like the thing is like it's like an anti-villain. Like you know what an anti-villain is,
and
right?
I'm not a lawyer, so it's like I can't, you know.
Well, like, no, I'm not saying if you go to a lawyer talk, that's completely different. Like, of course, like it's a lawyer thing. It's like, yeah, fucking arrest him or kill his ass. But the thing is, like, you can't really kill a super zombie who regenerates like fucking Deadpool and will like has Luke Cage strength.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, that's just gonna end well for you. Like, and it's just like, I think the thing that comes to me is like, if you know that there's an area where like there's a super undead zombie that you've tried nuking, burning, blowing up, drowning, doing all this stuff, and you notice this thing isn't leaving this area, but if you go on its area, it'll fucking kill you, then I'm just like, yeah, don't go on its fucking area then. I mean, like, you can't fucking do anything to hurt it. If it's like a
wild animal, for sure. Like, but if it's like a human with actual thought process.
No, he doesn't have a thought process like that, though. So that's what I'm saying.
Then that would, I guess, constitute into the, like, mentally insane category, which would, like, you know, which I don't have all the answers there. But I think I pretty much said my piece in that regard.
Because, like, to me, like, if we go into the innocent part of this, I think, like, I have a different thing, again, because I'm morally gray, people. Like, what, because
I'm also morally gray, but I do have situations where I feel like I'm more black and white, like, because I think we all have our prejudices and our extremes that we can settle and comfort into, because as society sometimes we lean towards what's easier, so sometimes it's easier to just put things in a box, and I think we're all guilty in certain aspects, but majorly you should try to look into the black and black and white before you make certain decisions. Like, for example, I'm very black and white on pedophilia. I'm very, fuck you. You can go die if you try to have sex with a child. Yeah. Like, I'm very, very black and white there. But
let me ask you this then.
And rape too, in terms of non-consensual sex, forcing somebody into a situation. I'm very black and white. But when it comes to, like, there can be, I guess, other things, like, especially with killing, where, like, self-defense, there could be lots of situations that intentions can play a part into, but then there's other situations where they don't. And I'm not a perfect master of deciding which one.
Well, I don't think that's the thing. I don't think everyone can just decide who is and who it is. Like, that's why I always say, like, I'm an anti-villain.
That's why I have a lot of morally gray, but I also have things that I consider black and white that I'll have conversations about, but that could be a flaw for me.
But
I think everybody has. I think everybody has those in their mind.
Well, yeah. Let me ask a devil's advocate question. Then.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, like, because I agree with you on the pedophile thing. If you touch a child, like, that's to me is just like you should be fucked up and like thrown with dogs and shit like that. What if it's one of those people who is has the thoughts of pedophile, like they can't control it, where it's like, I feel this way, I want to go get help.
You cannot control your thoughts.
But you can control your actions.
Your actions are a crime.
So I'm saying, like, no, I'm not saying like this. What I'm saying is for people who have those and they're like for instance, did you ever see that documentary on that guy who was like, I have these thoughts and I went to the I went to the police and they were like,
I'm not a scientist, so I can't like fully, I guess, give an answer for like.
Well, I know. I'm just asking your thoughts on, because like here's the thing. What happened? The thing is, the guy was like, I'm realizing I'm having these thoughts about kids. I know that's wrong. I went to the police to lock me up. They wouldn't lock me up because like I haven't done anything to anyone. I went to get help and all these people were looking at me like I was a leper. And it's like, I really want to get this shit out of me. I do not want to hurt a child. I will not do it.
I don't think I'm qualified to give a solution.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just asking your opinion on it.
I guess I'll preface it with, I don't think I'm qualified or have enough information to give a perfect solution to a situation like that, because I don't know a lot of stuff. But the thing that I do know is that if you take action,
if you take the action, I agree with the taking action part. But
then, having thoughts, you can't control thoughts to a degree. And
like if some random guy.
That's all that I really can say, I guess.
No,
maybe that's me being closed-minded or ignorant. I don't think it is, but I think it's okay for me to say I don't think I am qualified or have enough information scientifically or whatever to say what the best course of action is for that situation. All I can say is what I know.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, I get that, but what I'm saying is, and I'm not like attacking you or anything like that when I say. I'm just bringing up like let's say some random guy, and again, this is devil's advocate, Pogo. Like nothing, like I'm not condoning anything like that. Like especially, I think it's like this.
Well, no, of course.
I mean, you know my channel, like you guys know me. I'm the fucking Punisher. Kill this person like on the dot. I give no fucks. But like I'm saying, like if someone was like message you, Katy, like I need your help, and they're like, what's wrong? I'm having these really disturbing thoughts and I don't want to act on them at all. Can you please give me any advice on like what to do? Like, so would you just be like, get the fuck away from me or something like?
No, in that situation, I would say please seek help from a professional. I am not qualified to help you in the situation. I hope if I'm close to this person, I can say I hope that you can find the help that you need. But there are definitely situations in life that you are not qualified for, and it's okay to point them in the direction of someone who is. That's why we have professionals. Mm-hmm. We have people with more information that can truly help people, and I am not one of those people. Like we prefaced on the last podcast, like, yeah, we like getting questions and stuff, but there are some things that we might not have the answer to, and that's like how it is with most people. And this is definitely one of those things that I hope that there are experts that are researching and doing whatever they need to do to make sure we can help as many people as possible so that nothing like that will ever happen. Mm-hmm. I am not one of those people. And so I can only say what I know is true and correct, and it might be just kind of a normal thought, to like not to be against pedophilia. I hope that's a normal thought.
No, it is. No, the thing is, like, pedophilia itself is like something where you go, I find this really disgusting that you would like take a child and hurt like such an innocent thing for your own like gratification. To me, that is absolutely disgusting. It's like the people who are like, have those thoughts and they're like, oh God, I don't know. Cause I like that, cause to me, again, I was like with you, Katie, and that whole thing, but then like watching that documentary on the fucking TV of the guy saying I went to all these people and they just couldn't help me, and I was just like, I don't know what to fucking do because I don't. And it's just like that's like
I think
it's a disgusting thing. Like you have a disease that you can't. No one can really help you with.
And I don't know where I would qualify it, if it's like mental disorder or if it's what. I'm not qualified to make that call. Mm-hmm. And I have not done enough research to be able to have really an opinion in that sphere, because that's like a scientific thing. Like all I know is, the action and that, that's all that I can truly say that I'm qualified to say. Mm-hmm. And that sucks. I wish I did, have all the answers. That'd be great. But so I guess my opinion there is that I don't know. Mm. And I think that's an okay opinion to have. It's okay to be like, this is a part of it that I don't know. And all I can do is say but what I do know is this. And I hope that we can make sure to work towards a future where that is the norm. Because in society, I think we all have things that we consider black and white, and everybody's are different.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Everybody has their negotiables and their non-negotiables. And everyone's are different based on where they were born, how they were raised, their culture, their age, their gender. There's so many things that can determine what are important to them. And it's really up to you to make sure you analyze them as time goes by, because, things can change. What was normal 50 years ago is not normal now, and some of it's good, maybe some of it's bad, but it's important to have those conversations, but also understand if something is out of your understanding, and so you can look at it to a certain degree. But it's also okay to be like, I don't know everything about this, so I'm not going to look more into it at this moment, but whenever there's more information that I think is fruitful, maybe I will look into it. There's a balance.
Yeah, because I think to go to the muddle gray thing with the innocent person thing, for me, a person, they can say, oh, this person is an innocent person, but to me, innocent person is you're just a kind person who's just minding their business, caring, thoughtful, don't do nothing to nobody, just trying to live your life, that thing.
Yeah.
But if you're someone who intentionally you fuck with people on a daily basis because it's amusing to you, or you bring other people down, you may not do anything to someone else. To me, that's just where I know this is fucking cold. I don't give a shit about your life thing like that for what you're doing, because it's just you're fucking up someone who's done nothing to you. My biggest thing is don't start nothing, won't be nothing. But if you're constantly antagonizing people for no fucking reason, just to and I know that people say, oh well, this is my origin story of why I'm this way. No, I don't. The thing is
and that's one of your non-negotiables. That's
my non-negotiable right there. It's I don't people who take their personal bad days out on other people. I do not respect at all. Because I used to be that way. I used to be that person who would take what I was going through, and I would see someone else having a good day, and I'd be, well, what the fuck are you so happy about? You're still this, and I fucking acknowledged that was the thing I went through. And so there are people who do that, and they bring other people down because they're feeling like crap, and so that's my non-negotiable over there. I don't play that shit. Some other people want to, oh, well, I'm in do this, but I just can't. To me, I'm just no, you need a talking to. You need someone to give you a dad speaking no, this isn't right. You need to get help for this. You need to stop doing this, because that's my non-negotiable right there. I don't give a fuck.
And when it comes to people taking out bad days and stuff, I tend to fall more into a category of black and white depending on not black and white, into gray depending on the person. I think we all have things that we put in a certain box, but then if there's a certain person that's like that, we'll overlook it. Depending to a certain level, because I've definitely met people that I've been well, maybe they were having a bad day and I've tried to give them that, but there are certain actions where it's okay, this is not a bad day, this is you. There's definitely times to distinguish, I think, and and it's not always easy to know exactly when that's happening, but that is something that I try to look out more for, because I definitely know that recently I kind of had a bad day. We were playing a game and I got really worked up about it, and I was just oh my gosh, after the game I was oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, whoa.
Well, you got mad at someone?
Essentially we were playing the game and I was right about it's one of those games where you have secret identities, and I was the good guy and there's a bunch of bad guys, and I have to convince the other good guy that I'm a good guy, and I knew who the bad guys were, and I let those games get to me sometimes because I because I can be really good at them and know who the bad guys are, but if I can't convince the other person, I'll get mad, like, oh my gosh, I am the good guy. And usually it's all fun, and it's funny when you fuck with each other. But for some reason, it just got to me, and I was just like, oh my gosh, you fucking idiot, I am the good guy, blah. And everybody was like, oh, nah, she's lying. And then when I was right at the end, I was like, ah! And sometimes it's just like, it's funny. It's funny to fuck with people during those games. But for some reason, I was having an off day, and it actually made me mad. And
I hate those days.
Not that I took it out on someone per se, but I felt mad. And I feel like my emotions in that moment were hurting me. And I feel like maybe I said one too many, like, funny fuck yous. I mean, it was a group of people that, like, you know, we do that stuff all the time. Like, we always go like, ah, fuck you, like, during games like that. But, like, I felt myself saying it from a real place. And I was like, oh, wow. This is not okay. So, like, afterwards, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I get really into that game.
I get really mad too.
Yeah.
I feel you.
So I don't play those games as much anymore, depending if, like, I really feel like, oh my gosh, because I hate being right in those types of games. But sometimes I can play them and I'm like, cool. But it's like the game is built on fucking with people. And I sometimes have trouble with that.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand that completely. Because I remember back in the day, like, that was one of my biggest triggers was, like, you know, a kid who just was, like, bullied all the time and made to be funny. Like, when people would, like, mess with me, in a sense, I'd take it personally. Like, what the fuck does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? What are you saying? I mean, there's like, dude, I'm just joking around with you. I'm just trying to bust your balls. It's like, don't fucking, and I would go off about shit like that. So I understand that completely. Thankfully, because of meditation now, I don't.
Yeah.
But I think, like, one part of me is, like, I still do notice I hold a grudge on shit. Like, if someone makes me mad, like, I'll do this thing where, like, I just probably won't, like, associate. Because I'm not going to take it out on them. I'm not going to be like, well, fuck you and fuck this and all that shit. I just, like, I will just, like, ghost them for, like, a while. Just like, just don't bother me for a bit. Like, because I know it's something I'm trying to fix, and I've gotten better at controlling my stuff, but I do notice, like, if someone, like, says something that makes me angry, and if I bring it up, I feel like, dude, it was just a fucking joke, calm the fuck down, then that's just gonna make me angrier, and I'm just like, nope, just gonna go away for a bit, just go ghost it.
And that's why I think everybody can have bad days, because I've also played those games where I've been the person that was the bad guy that fucked with the good guy, and, like, so they were probably feeling the same way I was. But in those moments, it can really depend on how you're feeling, because those games are built on that, fucking with someone else that you know is telling the truth. Like, so that anger is a part of the game because you're supposed to be frustrated. And so I haven't had a lot of cases where I've actually let it get to me. Usually it's like, oh man, you were so smart in that scene. You really got me. But this particular one, I think, was one of the first times it really got to me like that. Because I was like having a bad day or something. I mean, not a fully bad day. Like, it was a pretty good day. But specifically, something in the game rubbed me wrong. And I was just like, oh shit, I'm actually letting it get to me. And, like, that doesn't happen often. But I think it was important to notice that it did. And then afterwards be like, oh my gosh, that was not okay for it to have gotten to me. It's a game. It's a stupid game. It doesn't matter. But, like, I think it's a very real feeling that it can get to people.
Yeah, I get, like,
in situations
full on
like that.
Jason mode. Like what I do is, like, I legit, like, I noticed that, like, when I'm getting angry at someone close and they're, like, joking with me, like, I stop like joking around and I, like, sort of do this, I guess, like, quote unquote Jason Michael Myers mode thing. Yeah. Where, like, my emotions go, like, they're gone. Like, I'm just like, I give, like, a death stare. Like, there's no emotion in my eyes. I just, like, will move quietly. I'll barely say anything. And I'm just like, okay, all right.
And that's why mindfulness is so important. Like, being able to say, okay, this is where I am. This is the situation. Why are you mad? And I'm lucky that I've kind of been able to have those conversations with myself. And after the game, eventually I was able to be like, oh my gosh, like, why? This is what was wrong. This is how I feel. This is what I should do. Just in case anyone did feel, like, offended by it. And no, I don't think anybody did. Like, it could have just been all in my mind. But I wanted to make sure, because it felt very real to me, that I was doing what I could to be like, hey, you know, I'm sorry. Like, it actually was affecting me. And that's why a lot of the times, like, games like Secret Hitler and stuff, I used to be really good at it. But, like, eventually it got to a point where when you're playing with the same people, you know how to fuck with that person really well. Yeah. So Secret Hitler is more fun to play with strangers nowadays than, like, with your close friends that you've played it with, like, 8 times. Right. Because when you first start playing it, it's, whimsical, but then, like, I can be very competitive, and that can be a flaw, but that can also be, like, a good thing.
I'm very competitive, too.
Yeah. Like, there's lots of things where I'm not competitive, where I'm just like, oh, man, it's more about fun, and that's most of the time. Mm-hmm. But there can be certain things where if I feel like I'm good at it, I'm like, I want to win. Like, I know the strategy to do, and, like, this is how I win, and, like, oh, man. And, like, I think there's lots of people that can be like that, and so... yeah, it's just important to understand yourself and have those conversations with yourself. Because nobody's perfect. I definitely was not perfect that day. And it honestly is, like, kind of embarrassing to admit that. But it's okay to say, hey, I probably fucked up here. Mm-hmm. So this is me admitting I fucked up here so that it won't happen again.
Right.
And, like, luckily I was in an environment with people that I trust and love. So we were able to just be like, ah. So it's like, yeah.
No, dude, you're better than me. I break shit when I get mad.
Oh my God.
I remember this one time, I broke the fucking thing because, like, I was just like, no, you don't understand. I'm winning this. And they're like, no, Jordan, like, I did this to your thing. No, you didn't. I'm winning right here. I just put the thing on.
I've never
like,
broken.
Jordan,
I've never been physical.
Motherfucker! And I just like, and I just walked out the fucking room, and I was just like,
wow.
Yeah. See, I was just
gosh.
like, that's why I'm glad. Like, I like really control myself during those things because, like, I remember like when we were playing that game at your house, at your friend's house during December, I was just thinking, oh wow, like if this was young me, I would just be like, what the fuck are you saying? And I just like break the thing. I'm so glad meditation is just
I've never been like a physical person. I usually go more inward, but like when it comes to certain situations where I'm like, when I'm really competitive, I can just be like, oh my gosh, you fucking idiot, come on, like because I can get really into games. Most of the time, that energy is. Sometimes that energy is put more towards like the fun element. Like sometimes, but there could be a few moments where I've had a bad day, and it's So I guess to bring it back to the question, I can be pretty gray when it comes to certain stuff because I understand like how to you have a bad day. I understand a lot of stuff, but there are definitely situations, whether it's a flaw or not, where I look at things a little more black and white, and I think everybody is guilty of that to a degree. Not that you look at everything black and white, not that you look at everything gray, because I think because in order to have a moral compass, there are certain things that you have to look at in a certain light, I think.
Yeah, I'm 65% good,
you
35%
have to have kind of
evil.
A point of reference can be very important, and so not everybody is necessarily the same when it comes to being on that continually flowing line or compass or whatever. But yeah, I think I'm gray on whether I'm gray or black and white.
I'm gray. I said it, like I said earlier, I'm 65% good, 35% evil. Because I know don't give my ass superpowers. Because yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, man.
All right.
But yeah, I think we took a good crack at that question. That got real deep real quick. We didn't even talk about Game of Thrones.
No, it wasn't about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I know. It mentioned Game of Thrones, so I thought we would at least throw in an example. Dogs should be pet. That's a Game of Thrones meme.
That child killer got stabbed, and that was what he deserved.
Yes.
There you go.
So let's go to our next question, guys. Thank you for sticking through with us for that one. That was fun. So our next question is, hi, Jordan and Katy. My question is, how do you continue doing something you love? For example, I love scootering. Same, bro. Same. But I'm not making any progress. I love scooters. But I'm not making any progress in my skill level. And I'm getting quite discouraged. So how do I continue without quitting? So maybe the question is really like, if I really like doing something but I'm not making a lot of progress or getting better at it, like how do I keep doing it It really depends on your goal there. If your goal is to improve, then I can understand. But if your goal is just to like have this thing that you do like that is fun for you, then it can be different. But sometimes the fun is improving. So like, yeah. What's your take on this, Jordan?
If I like something, I'll keep at it till I get it, like unless I get an injury. Because like I remember when I couldn't do handstand push-ups without the wall, I like used to watch like Rock Lee and Goku do them, and then I kept practicing and eventually I got it. Because like you just got to stick with it no matter what.
Yeah.
Like if you, I mean, it's different if you are he's scootering, so he's trying to grind or something like that. Like grinding is, first off, I have no idea how to scooter. I suck at scooter. Every time I scooter, I like cut my knees. My shins. Like I'll hit for some reason I don't know how you turn, because every time I try to ride a scooter, like the part at the bottom, like that you stand on, will smack me in the shins really hard, and I'm like, I don't know how to freaking do this. But I would just say keep practicing. Get a coach. Get a friend. Watch some YouTube videos on it. Like there are tons of YouTube YouTube videos. Like, whoever, like, you want to learn how to improve something, that's the great thing about YouTube is you can just watch it.
Yeah.
Like, you can just, like, watch, like, this is how you grind. This is the beginning steps to your grind. This is how you gradually keep going.
It's all about approaching it maybe from different angles. Like, what are your goalposts that you're setting? Can you set realistic goals for yourself? And can you find ways to maximize that potential of what you could do? Because, like, if the only goalpost you're setting is, I want to be able to, I don't know, scooter, like, this fast while doing all of these tricks, and, like, until I can do exactly that, then I have not succeeded, then you might have a hard time. But if you set small goals that will build you towards that, then, and something manageable and maintainable that you can, like, build over time, that can be a little different. I'm not sure what type of, like, goals can really happen with scootering, because scootering is one of those things for me where I enjoy being on a scooter when I'm doing, like, something else, and I don't necessarily want to get better at it. I just enjoy. I think scooting is one of those activities that I don't put into the category of I want to be better at. It's just something I enjoy. But there are other things that I do want to get better at, like when it comes to, like, cosplaying, for example. Like, I want to constantly one-up myself if I can, and sometimes it can be discouraging if I feel like, oh, this costume isn't as good as it could be. And even though it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, for some people cosplaying can just be strictly, I'm doing this because it's fun for this reason. And for me, cosplaying is fun when I take it to another level. Like, I like it being something that I can improve upon. I like it being something that I don't necessarily, like, I'm not competing with others per se, because I don't do contests. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. I'm not in that world of cosplay. But I like when I can look at a picture of my costume and be like, oh, that's me. Like, I did it. Like, so it really depends on your mindset for the activity, and then setting those small goals. Like, because for cosplay, I've never been in a place where it's like, oh, I want to sew, I want to do this or that. But I have wanted to, like, work on wig styling, or, like, ooh, if I could do this cool makeup thing, something that's realistic for me to do in like that capacity. While others might have goals of, like, oh, I want to be better at sewing, or I want to learn how to cross seam, and I'm like, that's not my level. So yeah, your mindset and setting those goals. Do you have an activity, Jordan, that you like to do that you don't care if you get better at?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, doing what
like
is
something
it?
that you don't really have stakes in per se, but you like it. Like, you can say, I like doing this, but if I'm not the best, or if I don't get better at it, if it's just something I do, I'm okay with that.
Let me think. What do? I do a lot of things. Let's see. I use my knives. I use my nunchucks. I use my guns. I use my weapons. I have a lot of weapons in my room, folks. So I'm just saying, like, what I practice with. I practice with them to save my life. So let's see. No stakes. Video games. I'm a casual gamer. I like. There's like I am not the dorky kid I used to be. He was just like, I just want to play video games. No one likes me. You know, I remember I used to be that one. I just play video games casually now. They're just for fun. They're stress relief. I don't, like, care about improving or competing or doing anything like that. Like, fighting it. Yeah, so I would say video games.
Yeah, I think I can say that kind of about video games too. Like, even with Smash, there was a time where, like, I wanted to get better and I was doing little tournaments. But even if I wouldn't win, which wouldn't happen often, I would still be happy if I could make it one level further. Mm-hmm. But if I didn't, it wouldn't give me that feeling of, like, oh man, I suck. Like, because there's some things where, like, I kind of put that spin on it. Like, I'm trying to think. Like with, oh man, what was it? Oh yeah, with, like, manga sometimes, I'll be like, oh man, I want to be caught up. I want to know all this stuff. And so I'll kind of put it into this category of I have to know more. I have to read more. I have to be caught up with people, instead of just being like, hey, I just casually read this. I get really into it.
Right.
And then, like, but with games, it's like if I'm not caught up on the latest game or knowledge of all the mainstream stuff or whatever, it doesn't bother me.
Right.
Or like with Marvel and DC movies, it's something that, like, I've mildly joined the fandom through Zach, sort of. But, like, I don't really care.
I mean, it's just like you like.
There are people that are committed to the Marvel universe.
Well, yeah, Marvel, yeah. But I mean, I would just say, like, that's a comic fan in general. Okay.
Yeah, but I guess, let's see, to answer the question, If you're not making any progress and you get discouraged, how do I continue without quitting? Yeah, find those little ways to move forward. Don't set like huge goals immediately. Like make them a distant goal and like it's okay. And also, if you just want to put it into a category of this is something I like doing and I'll get better at my own rate. Like I guess that kind of stuff. 'Cause yeah, I think that's the only thing you really can do.
Right. Nah, I agree.
Yeah.
She answered it greatly.
So, Jordan, why don't you take us to our next question?
Yeah. Okay. This comes from Doke Poke, and he says, "Do you like meeting new people?"
Huh.
So take us away, Katie.
I do. I mean, I have times where I'm just like, I just want to be with the people that I know. But I like in certain situations meeting new people, but sometimes it's harder to get close to new people. I think there's kind of a difference there. Like, I like getting close to new people, but sometimes it's very circumstantial if it'll even happen. Because sometimes it's very nerve-wracking, like that idea of like rejection or whatever. And so I usually am very like particular with how I put my energy out there so that it's more of like a give and take instead of straight up just going for it. Like that'll happen for me sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like when there's probably situations where I should just go for it. So it can be a scary thing, but overall the experience of meeting new people is something that I enjoy, but the experience of getting closer to new people is scarier, but it's something I enjoy when it can happen, but sometimes it's scarier and I tend to push myself more away than getting closer.
Yeah, she said partially, but I personally, this is gonna sound so wrong, I really don't like meeting new people. I'm just introvert. I'm such an introvert. Like I don't know. Don't get it twisted now. I like meeting people who are supporters of like my work or something like that. Like that's like always the thing of like, oh yeah, it's great. But like if someone's like, hey, we're hanging out, I'm gonna go call my friend, we're gonna hang out, like, because the thing with me is like pretty much a little mix and match what Katie says is like, all right, now I gotta readjust my fucking personality, throw out jokes like which joke can I use, which thing, and then I become all introverted, then I try to make them laugh and open the thing up, and then it's just like a bunch of like this stuff I just care for, because I'm very much like, I like to hang with my group of people. Why do we have to go hang with these people? Like, I just want to hang with the people I like. I just want to hang with, it's like, oh yeah, but I guess so. But like, I don't mind it. Like, the thing is, in the long run, I don't mind it. Like, it's just like, I guess it's just that, not, I wouldn't say fear, just like, oh boy, like now I gotta
I definitely have fear.
No, for me, it's like, nothing scares me except for that one thing that I mentioned before. And it's, for me, it's just like, I mean, I guess let's get this personality going. Like, it's just like, all right, so you're cool, whatever, and stuff like that. It's just like, because I guess it's not like there. It's just uncomfortableness. I don't like uncomfortableness. I'm not scared of it, but it's just like, I would prefer to be doing something else right now rather than being here.
Yeah.
Like if I feel like someone's really good friends with one person, but they're not good friends with me, and then like I try to like be good, but they're still sort of like. Yeah, and it's just like, then I feel like, well, why the fuck am I here? I should get the hell out of here.
Yeah, that's
right
a fear.
Yeah, well, for me, it's not a fear. It's just like,
for me, it is.
It's just like, this is annoying. And like, I remember this one time, I can say it now because it was like, I think it was at a con, and it was like me, Monty, Saber Spark, and we were going to go pick up Jesse, and then this one person who I didn't know like came along with us, and I sort of was trying to be like, because my car only had so much space, like, yeah, we're just trying to go pick up Jesse, I don't have the space, and they like came along anyways. I was like, okay then, whatever. And so like they came along, and then me, Jesse, and Monty and Saber were all having a good time talking and catching up, but then like we went, I think, got dinner or something like that, and then this person was just mopey and why it's like, to me, I feel it's, if you don't like, if I don't know someone well and they're trying to be like my life is just like this and this, that, I mean, it really depends on like the mood of the scenario, because like I can either be like, you know, all might, hey little one, this is gonna be great, or I could be like Wolverine of just like, all right dude, you're bringing the mood down right now.
At that point, it's not really in the spectrum of meeting anymore, because for me, like, that's them trying to barge in to trying to get closer. Like, for me, what meeting means is that kind of initial, like, hi, I'm this, oh, really cool to meet you. Like, there's not really any stakes per se. It's just Like, the only stakes are, can I have a positive experience here because it's our first time interacting?
Yeah.
That's usually the stakes I have for the first time meeting. And if it doesn't, like, and so I don't put a lot out there because, like, it can't go wrong if you just try to have, like, a simple positive experience. You don't try to get close. You don't try to get too much out of it. You're just like, oh, hey, chill. Oh, what do you like? Oh, that's really cool. And so I like that part. But then when it starts to get to that place of, like, they're trying to push in, they're trying to get more out of it than that, like, depending on the situation, of course. Like, for example, if they're trying to follow you to your hotel room or, like, go to dinner with you guys.
That's what
when you don't really know them, if you've just met. Like, I like the meeting part, but if they try to push it further than that, if the situation is not calling for it, like, if they're connected to somebody else and that other person is like, oh, yeah, they're cool, let's bring them in, that can be a different situation because, like, on recommendation, like, it can be okay to bring them in, but sometimes you want to just be with the people that you know in certain situations.
Yeah. Let's flash back to our meeting, all right? So it was just like, there was no issue there. It was just like, oh, Katy's at this booth. I'm just going to go say hi.
Yeah,
hi,
I was just like, hi,
bye.
hi.
There we go. They got
positive
on with the day.
experience. I'm glad that we,
And then it was just like, oh, cake. Hey, I like cake. Oh, walk into each other. Yo, you want to hang out? Oh, sure. You know what? I got some time.
And then we just ate cake, and we had already had our initial, like, meeting. So we had already had, like, a first interaction that was just positive. So that makes the second time easier because you've already established, hi. Now we can take it somewhere different. We can talk about more, or we could just talk about less, but you definitely go a step further that second time.
Right.
And so there can be different stakes there.
Mm-hmm.
And we just happened to be chill about it because we already had sort of done some online meeting because we talked a little bit, but, like, it was nothing serious. Like, it can kind of be like a situation where you're kind of playing it by ear there until somebody says, like, so anyway, here's something deep, and then you either latch to it or you're like, whoa. But, like,
didn't we start talking? Didn't we have, like, a fuller conversation at the Steven Universe panel? Because, like, I remember, like, the Steven Universe panel, everyone was, like, having these, like, deep questions that me, Paleo, and Saber were like, let's fuck with this whole thing. And then we were like,
I remember that.
What's better, Steven Universe Fusion or DBZ Fusion? That was fun. That was good.
So, short answer. I like meeting people.
I don't, but I will make used to it.
It can get scarier, but I like the meeting part, depending on how it goes, because there can be ways where it happens where I don't like it. Like, if somebody comes up and, like, this is our first time meeting and they try to make it real personal or, like, really uncomfortable, or, like, they say things that are like, whoa, I just met you. Like
if I came up to Katy and I was just like, damn, girl, you thick as fuck, man. I was not expecting that shit. I mean, damn, like, girl, shit, girl.
Yikes.
You fine as bitch. You finer than a motherfucker.
That would have been a big old nope-de-nope. But, like, you build up to jokes like that because you create certain, like, relationships, and you create certain comfort levels where it's like, oh, yeah, I can make these jokes. I can talk about this now. And even then, like, things are always growing and level, and, like, there's always certain things that maybe you shouldn't go there, and, like, but then there's certain areas where maybe you are close enough to. So, like, there's lots of different gray situations, but the meeting part can be pretty fun.
Yeah, because you get to eat, like, sandwiches with ham. So, yeah, that's great.
Ooh.
But I mean, speaking of meeting people, that doesn't mean don't come up to me at MomoCon. I will say hi. I'll be polite and stuff like that. Just be cordial, and I'll be cordial to you. Same thing. And then, like, if I'm at a dinner thing, I'm always. What's funny is I'm always the one who, like, because my friend, I'm like an intro extrovert because like most of my friends are, like, really introverted. So, like, I have to do most of the talking, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, so what's up? How's it going? And then, like, after a while of loosening them up, because all you got to do, folks, to make someone, like, get on your good side is get them to genuinely laugh, tickle their brain, and make them genuinely laugh. And it's like, okay, now I know the conversation topic and comedy, and now I can just do it. Like, that's how I got Katy, all right? Like, that's it.
Yay.
We went to eat cake, and I made her laugh, and then we had got a great conversation out of that. There we go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
But you were also, like, super respectful and genuine during it, too.
Duh.
Like, I never sensed there was, like, a weird thing happening. Like, you were just very, like,
I'm gonna get this girl
cool.
on a fucking podcast with me. That's all I was thinking.
Oh, yeah. Oh, damn it. You fooled me.
Yes, fool.
But speaking of the podcast.
Yeah, speaking of the podcast.
I don't know. That's a segue, right?
Yeah,
anyway, we have a very long question here that I would like to get to. I usually don't read, like, full emails.
Are you going to read it, like, with a all dramatic voice?
Maybe.
Do it.
Like, this is going to be like, yeah, this is a really cool question that we got that is very deep in stuff. And I hope whoever sent us this email is listening, because I would like to read this email. I will not say who it's from, but it goes, hold on, dramatic breaths here. long email. Hey, Jax and Katy. Love your podcast, by the way. I always listen to it at work. I'm a 27-year-old single mother to a wonderful 7-year-old little girl. As a child, I watched everything besides porn, LOL. I loved anime, wrestling, cartoons, different movies from different genres, you name it. In elementary and middle school, I noticed that none of my female friends watched any of those things. They liked the black shows. So I tried to befriend kids from other social groups who were in the same things as I was. But sadly, because of the fact that I didn't, quote-unquote, look the part of a girl who was into anime and comics, I was shunned from those social groups. For years, I concealed that part of myself from people that I befriended out of fear of being considered lame or a dork in the bad way. But now that I'm older and I don't hide that side of myself anymore, and I show my daughter some of the old school anime and cartoons that I watched for years at her age, she enjoys them. However, my daughter is still very young, so it's not like I have a full in-depth conversation with her about certain shows. Now that YouTube and other platforms are out there, I try to have discussions with people about anime in the community, but sometimes it's not so friendly because I don't have the plethora of statues or graphic t-shirts. I'm looked at like I don't have a clue at what I'm talking about. I mean, I am a mother, so I spend most of my time on my daughter. I went to WonderCon this last March, and I had a conversation with a group of guys, and they told me that they were surprised by how much knowledge I had at these topics because, in their words, I don't look like I'm into that. And that is a statement that keeps popping up into my life. What is an anime nerd or comic book even supposed to look like? Or an anime nerd or comic book nerd even supposed to look like? I admit that I dress like a mom or mature woman at times, but that doesn't mean that I sit around watching the Hallmark Channel all the time. Sorry for the long essay, but my question is, how do I combat that as a black woman? Long question, but I felt like context was important here, because I think this is a really good question.
Right.
Like especially when it comes to like the fake gamer girl aesthetic, or even like if you just look like a normal person, or even based on like, or like based on race and gender, whether that makes you qualified to be a fan. I think this is something to talk about, because I think me and Jordan have probably both experienced in different ways this type of situation.
Right. Yeah, we have. Why don't you start us off then?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have had the the struggle as a female of like, it hasn't happened often, like in my adult life especially, because I think I do put myself into the category of I dress very weeby, like I pretty much like I don't I guess walk around like in normie clothes and stuff. Not that that makes it a bad thing, but when I was younger, I definitely loved anime and stuff, but I was more like afraid. Like, not all the time, but there were times where people would like call me a furry or a lesbian because I was a girl that liked anime, and I would get made fun of a little bit and get like questioned of like if I am doing this for attention or if I like it because boys like it. And like that was always a constant insecurity when I would just try to get into things. And like I remember I was at the Boys and Girls Club one time, and I really wanted to go watch Yu-Gi-Oh! GX in the TV room, but they had to separate the boys and the girls because apparently somebody had made out in there. Yeah, and so I was just like, I just want to go watch my show that I used to watch all the time in the TV room before they started segregating it by gender. And I was like really sad because I'm like, I'm not in there trying to impress these boys. I'm trying to watch fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. And so I had to talk to our counselor to ask like, hey, can I go watch the show with the boys? I'll sit in the back, I'll be quiet. And they were like, yeah, because they knew I was like the weeby ass kid. That like I had glasses and braces and like
You had braces?
Oh yeah, I had braces.
I never seen those pictures. You need to show me after this.
Yeah, I'll find pictures.
Yeah,
but yeah. So I was allowed to like sit in there, but like I definitely had moments where I was made fun of and where I was asked like, hey, like, are you really doing this for this? Like, you're probably just hanging out with the boys because you want attention. And I'm like, whoa, like, can I not just like something? So I understand it from that perspective. And I hate the fact that there are people that aren't just allowed to casually like something, and I think that's become a lot worse nowadays. Like, you have to be an expert in order to enjoy this thing.
Right.
And I think it can calm down at times when you're in certain crowds, but yeah, it's definitely something I've experienced. Yeah, do you have any experiences you would like to share, Jordan?
Oh my God, so much.
So many.
Like, that's what I got beat up as a kid for, because I was a chubby anime fanboy who would get made fun of for liking these shows. Like, I used to wear Dragon Ball Z shirts every single day for 6th grade and 7th grade, but then I started getting the bullying started happening, so I stopped doing it. And I had to start dressing like a fucking quote unquote normie. But it wasn't until I started working out junior year of high school that I started going, you know what, fuck it, I like this. I'm gonna just rock it for what it is. I like it because it was one of those things of I like it. What the fuck you gonna say? I wish your motherfucker would. So it was along those lines where the thing with me now is as an adult, I just I've really stopped caring a lot what other people think. Is one of those, it's really such a thing that I wish I could just pass on to my younger self that none of this matters. All this shit that you're worried about it really, really doesn't matter. Because the thing with me is I am a dork. I'm a dork coated in muscle. That's what I am. I'm a dork coated in muscle. I'm still that nerdy, dorky kid coated in muscle. Yeah. I have no game, folks. I do not know how to hit on girls. They have to hit on me. I'm a dork. I'm a freaking idiot. I do not know what I'm doing. Ladies, tell me. But I realized this a while ago because the only thing I care about is what my friends think about me and what my family thinks about me. But if you're someone I don't know, then it really has no effect unless, and I want to make this perfectly clear because this becomes a fucking challenge for some people. It's oh, well, if you don't care, well, what if I said that you're something horrible, like a pedophile or a fucking murderer, or you did this, dogs are ripping off old ladies or something or a rapist or, something just complete asinine. Those are things that you have to combat right from the get-go. That's not true at all, and you saying this can fuck with my livelihood. That is something where if of course you should care about, because it's someone fucking with your livelihood, and I don't respect stuff like that. But if it's just no, I like DBZ, no, I like anime, I like stuff like that. I like it. Oh, what the fuck are you wearing? And it's just
I think it's not a super it's not. Obviously, it's not the worst thing in the world if somebody's are you really a nerd? But at the same time, over and over again, it can be something that can
I get
hurt you. If it's if you're just trying to get into something and somebody is automatically questioning you or saying oh, are you even allowed to like this stuff? You don't wear all the shirts. You don't do all this. People are more than their
and you know what? Fuck.
And and I definitely have.
I was gonna say. Oh, I'm sorry, but what I was gonna say was you know what? Fuck people like that. If I ever if I meet someone, right, and I'm talking about, oh, that's really cool and stuff like that. This is really cool, and they're well, you like this? You don't just like anything like that, and they're in a talking down tone.
They're just putting they're just projecting their insecurities onto you. You don't have to look a certain way to like something.
You have now you're on my shit list. I don't give a fuck about it. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Well, fuck you. If you, because it's just one of those things. If someone if I was talking to someone about DBZ, right? And I go in depth talking about well, actually in Bardock the Father of Goku is actually quite different than Broly Dragon Ball Super and stuff like that. And I'm just wearing I don't know, my clothes where I used to model, and well, you actually know about this, or if they say it with a confusion of the sense oh, you actually know about this, that's fine, because it's oh yeah, well yeah, I do, I actually like this a lot. And
I think stuff like that, it kind of falls into the casual ignorance situation, and I think people like that are also the people that kind of fetishize oh my gosh, you're a girl and you play video games, you must be a god. People that do stuff like that, they don't quite realize that it's this casual ignorance. Or people that say oh my gosh, your cosplay of this character because you're a hot girl is so much better than that cosplay of the character. Don't compliment me.
Don't put someone else down by
putting others down.
Yeah, that's a piece of shit.
And so I think those people can they kind of fall into that same category if they don't quite realize that what they're doing is hurtful. And yes, it's not the most worst thing somebody can do, but it can still hurt and have effects, and it can make it hard. It can kind of be a gatekeeping situation for
and
people
you know
to get into stuff.
My thing is kick the
like,
fucking gate down. I don't care. Like, fuck you.
Yeah. And even if they don't quite realize what it is, it's important to have those conversations because they might not realize that they're being ignorant like that. Like, a lot of it stems from just, like, normalizing that culture of the fact that there are people out there that think there's a difference in gender for people that can like certain things, like, and marketing places can also be like a contributor to that. Like, if you say, well, this game's for girls, this game's for boys, that can kind of from a young age put
Katy,
that into your mind. And if you don't
guy
escape,
who's a fan of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, really having those conversations and saying you don't have to look a certain way to understand why this is important, like My Little Pony. Like, it's a great show with great themes, and you don't have to look this way or
that
be this way to enjoy and appreciate that.
It was just like, you like
exactly.
My Little Pony? This muscle guy likes My Little Pony? Fuck yeah, I do. Fluttershy's the best.
So understanding that it comes from that place of normalizing and casual ignorance can be important, and that doesn't make it necessarily hurt any less, but it can help you in moving forward to saying to yourself, like, yes, I'm a fan of these things. I'm not fake because I'm not a fake fan, or I'm not worthy of liking this thing just because this person doesn't understand that life isn't just the black and white when it comes to what can be enjoyed. And there's going to be people like that in the world, no matter what you do, sadly, that will say something that can hurt without them even realizing it. And, like, sometimes they truly may not mean it, but it's up to you to just be like, hey, you know, that's maybe not cool. I mean, you don't have to get on their case about it per se. Like,
this is my opinion on this. All right, if someone says it to you in a way that is like not talking down to you or not like this, like, for instance, because for me, I have no patience for one way, but like if someone says this to you, because this happens literally all the time to me, like I know you didn't want to put your name out there, so I'll just say, you know, my friend, when I like see some people talking about like Digimon or something like that, because I remember in high school that used to be a thing, like, oh, this football jock is like, he's talking about Digimon to this, and it was just like there was this look of confusion, like, you like this? And I was like, yeah, I do, actually. It's really good. Well, and they were like, wow, that's so awesome. That's so cool. But like, if it's like a sort of thing of like, you're not a real fan of this, you're something like that. It's just like, well, first off, I don't know what makes you a real fan. Just being a fan of something makes you a real fan. And then that's people when you just like, you just go like, this is how you like do it. But like the fact that you just decided, oh, I want to gatekeep this shit now, just means, or you just saved me a bunch of time. You wasted my time. I don't want to associate with you. I really don't want to associate with someone who's like, you don't, or this type of person. It's just like, you're the fucking virgin, lives in the basement with your fucking mother and doing this stuff with your fleshlight.
Yeah, if anything, it kind of just lets you in to like the fact that they haven't quite opened their mind to a lot of stuff. Because if like, whenever I see stories of like, it's a simple aggression, you know, it's a simple thing
mitigating
that
feelings
happens,
of
but
inadequacy.
It's still like very telling. Like when I see somebody, like if for example a girl goes into a comic book store and the guy at the counter, like, or if there was one store that I saw where like a girl walked into a comic book store and she like had been playing D&D and stuff for a long time, and she saw that they were playing a game, so she was like, oh, what's going on here? And the guy says, oh, this is a game called Dungeons and Dragons. You may not know, but I am a dungeon master. And
right.
But apparently he had said it in a way that was very like, oh, well, you've never played this before, instead of it just being like, oh, have you played before? Like, because it's okay to assume maybe somebody hasn't done something, but to outright say you could not have possibly known what this is can be like a little frustrating. Or like, and I've been in a situation too, not with nerdy stuff, but just like some typical low-key girl stuff that makes me frustrated. But, you know, it's because of their casual ignorance. It's not because they're a bad person and, you know, all this stuff necessarily, but like it can just be that they don't know any better, and I wish that they would educate themselves, but it's just normalized for them. So like whenever I might go out to eat with Zach or to a movie or something, sometimes people automatically they charge Zach and put him on the bill. Or like one time we went to a movie and they automatically assumed that he was paying for me, even though I was right there with my wallet out. They said to him, okay, 2 tickets, that'll be $22. And I was like, what? I'm right here. And they were just like, oh, sorry, we thought he was paying for you. And I'm like, why would you assume that? Like, because it's a normalized thing, I guess, for the guy to always pay for the girl. But that being the norm frustrates me. Like, the fact that, like, it's assumed that I don't have my own money. So if I'm standing with a guy, he's obviously my wallet, like, makes me mad. And, like, it's okay if somebody wants to, you know, like, treat you or do something and you have that conversation. That's a different story. It's not that you can never have somebody pay for you ever. But whenever it's assumed like that, it makes me a little mad. And I have to sometimes outright say at the very beginning, these are two separate tickets. Like, because it's happened so often. And I know that's not necessarily related to the nerd stuff, but I think it kind of goes into that experience of, like, sometimes there's this casual ignorance of this is the way things are, even if it's a frustrating thing that shouldn't be the way things are, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, that's just like a little tangent from me that has been a source of insecurity for me as well. Not that I have the most money in the world, and neither does Zach, but, like, and it's not the worst thing in the world for somebody to be like, oh, is he paying? You know, of course I can live, but it does make me a little upset. So I can understand if people, like, say, hey, I don't like that. And it goes for nerd culture too. And
yeah. Well, my opinion is, like, this,
so
like, if they're gatekeeping in a way of, like, oh, you can't possibly like this, fuck them. They're not worth your time. You, like, just find people who do matter. Because, like, if they just say the thing of, like, oh, okay, like, oh, that's cool. Like, if you're into that, then they're the ones that you can, like, form friendships with. That's going to be awesome. Because, you know, like, hell, I've had most of my friends develop from that, like, thing of, like, oh, yeah, I didn't suspect you to like this. Oh, but that's fine, though. I mean, not trying to, like, put you down or anything. I just didn't expect it. It's like, that's fine. Because, you know, like what we were talked about earlier. But it's just,
it can really depend
so,
on the
like,
situation.
again, if you're
like,
gatekeeping, then so we don't go in a circle again. But yeah, if they're gatekeeping, fuck them.
So yeah,
don't bother.
I hope that you know that you don't have to look a particular way to be a nerd. And if you have a child and you don't have as much time to do all the nerdy things that make you quote unquote a nerd, then that's just bullshit. You can join at any level. You can do whatever you want and still call yourself a nerd or a geek or whatever. Anybody that tells you you're not allowed to call yourself a gamer because you don't play certain video games, for example,
they deserve a
like,
wedgie.
If you like to if you like to play certain games, if you like to do whatever, you're in that group. Like, you're just having a good time, and that's okay. And, like, if you want to bring your kid into it, that's awesome too. Understanding, like that those people are just kind of a product of their environment and what's been normalized, and that it's just kind of a casual ignorance, and it's not necessarily always hateful, can be helpful in understanding those feelings and helpful in, like, mitigating it so that you don't automatically just get really angry, because if you get really angry, it's only really hurting yourself, sadly. Because I've been in situations like that where, like, I got so mad over it, and I was like, wait, but they're just ignorant. I know it's not my job to, you know, make them not ignorant, but, like, if I can tell them, hey, you know, this is this, then, like, that's okay for me to do. But yeah, if you just let it get to you, it only hurts you, like, and that's what sucks. So you just have to understand there's going to be ignorant people, and they won't necessarily mean it, and they're going to do it, and all you can do is just hope that they can be better by maybe talking to them about it. But if you don't have the energy to do that, that's okay too. And that can go for a lot of social issues as well, not just, like, nerds trying to be nerds, but I think that's kind of an overall advice there.
Yeah, if they're a piece of shit, don't talk to them. That's my advice.
Yeah. Find people that are just, like, really excited to see you do things and want to do those things with you. Or at least talk to you about them or whatever. And go to what you can. If you want to go to cons, go to cons. If you want to just be that person that just watches anime on your own and occasionally talk to somebody about it, you can do that too. It's all good. You can be whatever level you want to be. Like, I'm a mediocre Marvel fan, but I'm hella manga fan. And, like, some people classify some things as more nerdy than others, but there's different genre of nerds, there's different level of nerds. Do what you want to do. You don't have to look anyway to cosplay, to love nerdy things, to love boys, love girls, to love what you love. Just do it. Don't let people put those expectations on you, because that is just their ignorance showing.
Exactly.
Yes. So, Jordan, why don't you take us to our next question from our email?
All right. This one comes from Anonymous, I guess. Or would it be, I don't know his name. Dear
see.
Katy and Jordan, if you could do
yeah.
any side job for fun without it affecting your current job, what would it be? I honestly have always thought about storm chasing or even stunt doubling. LOL, I used to try and do art commissions as an actual side job, but nothing ever came from it. Might as well do something Evil Knievel-ish, LOL. Dear Katy and Jordan, if you could do any side... Okay, so there we go.
Yeah, that's just the email. Accidentally typed it twice.
Yeah.
But, yeah. What do you think you'd do?
Like a side job. Can you be a side job like that? Remember Jet Jackson? Remember famous Jet Jackson?
Sure.
The Disney show. That was a show where he was like a TV star, but he went to school at the same time. Like, but he was actually a real. I can't remember that show at all. But
nice.
He's dead now. What is it? What is a job I like? Porn. No.
Would you do porn on the side?
Would my face be in it? You know what? You know what? This is something because I don't care because I haven't done it or anything like that. But I have dabbled with the idea of just like POV where your face something like that where you're just like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a girl. You just need this, okay? Boom, 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 and then like your face isn't in it. And it's just, I heard those guys get paid a lot, but it was just like, oh yeah.
Wow. And I mean, everybody's tested, everybody's clean,
yeah,
like
see? Everyone's tested
regulated.
and clean, so you could do it raw. Because I haven't had it raw because I'm very paranoid about babies and STDs.
Of
so
course,
it's just like
naturally.
So I wouldn't do it, but yeah, that'd be interesting. But oh god. No one knows what I look like.
Yeah, you would just have to make sure you're working with somebody very like very professional, like contracts involved to like you are legally not allowed to show
I wouldn't
your face,
actually do that, Kate. I love
like,
how you're actually giving me advice.
No, dude, there's nothing.
I know there's nothing wrong with
being a
it, but I'm
sex
saying
worker.
like that thought has dabbled in my head before. Like again, I respect all my sex worker friends. I always give them the props, and I always say like, you do your shit, make sure you're getting paid for it. That's what I always say is make sure you are getting paid for it, because if you're showing off your goodies, you make sure you get some money for that. All right, because you deserve it. Mm-hmm. You're helping a lot of people get to sleep tonight, so remember that.
Then what would you actually do as like a side job? Because what do you think you would like to do like? In a perfect world, like just something fun on the side that like that'd be cool if I was doing that.
Get paid to do it.
Yeah.
Is it my skills now, or can I just like download it into my system?
Just you could do either or. You can do one that's realistic, and you can do one that's like, I don't know if I'm qualified, but I would like to do that.
If I could, I would love to be a voice actor, but I don't have the skill for that. So I'd just be like, I'd be like, I do a bunch of voice actor where this is me in this cartoon or this is me in this movie, but they never know. And then like I do my YouTube channel and like you sound a lot like this character, and then I could do impressions, but they like know it's not actually that character.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun to do.
Yeah.
Like, just be in various like series and shows and be like the badass, and if I had the talent to do
Yeah.
that.
On that note, one thing that I'm not qualified and don't have the skills to do, and I'm not willing to put in the time either, because like of course you can do anything if you put in the time, but I'm not willing to. Something that I wish I could just magically do, and it could be a side job, is like full on graphic design / like animation artist.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like
if I could do animation.
Dude, yeah. If I could draw amazing pictures, so I could, like, make all my banners, all my everything. Like, I could draw me, I could draw my friends, like, perfectly, like, with the color scheme that I like. Like, it would just be a style that I'm really proud of. And, like, that way I can do those art commission stuff, and I can make all my profile pictures.
I could draw.
That would be so cool.
Dude, if I could draw porn, I'd be, like, a millionaire by now. I'd be so rich.
Like, that would be so awesome. I don't know if I'd want to be full-on animator, but if I could do, like, enough animation to where I could, like, make cute, tiny animations.
With, like those little
stick
figure ones, like that guy who just draws a circle and a face. Well, not really. It's, like, it's very simplistic, but he does those animations.
Ooh, and if I could do, like, really good video editing, like Kaiser Neko level, which, again, of course, if I put my time into anything, of course, I could be able to do it if I really, really committed to it. But I'm not willing to do that, so I won't be able to. So this is a pipe dream situation where I'm just fantasizing about the idea. That would be really cool.
Okay.
If I could just do that. But, like, I think a realistic one, like something to do, like, on the side that I think I could be qualified for, like, I'm struggling. Do you have one?
realistic one. I'm doing a lot already. Like I'm an online coach and trainer, and I do like YouTube, and I do I'd love to be one of those movie monsters where you get put in the makeup and then you attack people in the movie, and then like you're just like rah, rah, and you do those fucking voices and shit like that, and then you like go and run after me. I'd love to do that. Like they were like, hey, we need monster for this movie. You can be the monster, but I'm not tall enough, because I remember when I was a little kid, I always wanted to be Jason growing up, but I stopped growing at 5'9", and I want if Jason's like 6'5".
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, voiceover is one that I'm trying to make happen, and I've made a little money at it, which is cool. But I think one thing that could be fun is like being a writer for like okay. I have a friend that does this, and I've wanted to dabble in it, but I haven't made the time to, but it's something that I might consider in the future. Being a full-time, like, fan fiction writer. Right. Like, where people, like, commission you to write smutty fan fiction, and even read it would be so fun.
What's your sexy voice?
Like, because I have a friend that does it. Oh, God.
Yeah,
Not
you gotta do it
right
for
now.
the thing. You
I don't
like,
even know.
You can't, right, audience?
Oh, God.
Audience.
Well, you would read it in, like, a more narration voice.
Yeah,
but
let's
like,
hear it.
But, oh, my gosh.
I'm going to type something out that's sexy.
Okay, type something out that's sexy, and I'll read it in a narration voice.
You read it in a sexy voice. Okay.
Okay, I'll go for it.
Mm-hmm. Keep talking while I type it down. Yeah, I'm typing it out. You gotta.
So yeah, that would be fun. I've done audiobooks before. Not that I'm like crazy amazing at narration yet, but like it's something that I'm still trying to improve upon. I like more character work, but it's something that I would like to get better at and do more of. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like the idea of writing like sexy, smutty fan fiction that's like funny, and then like narrating it would be so fun. Oh God, what are you writing? I'm scared. Okay. All right. I'm gonna read this goddamn sentence that you just typed. Okay.
Hold on.
I'm gonna read this first one.
Write more. I got some. Okay. Oh God, this just came in my head. All right. Yeah, keep talking to the people, Katie. Come on.
Okay. I thought you were gonna type the sentence. Okay, after this sentence, you're done.
Yeah, I just keep talking to the people while I finish up.
So yeah, that would be a fun thing to do. And I've never written smutty fan fiction, but when I've read other ones, well, for Kruby actually, AWA last year, we had a fan fiction panel where like we read smutty fan fiction, and I was the narrator, and I also played Weiss. So it was more funny because I would narrate as Weiss. So I would be like, and then Crow took his cock, and it would be so funny because like, imagine Weiss just reading smutty fan fiction. It was amazing. If anyone out there wants to commission me to read smutty fan fiction as Weiss, I will gladly do it. Like, send me a few Ko-fi. I'll make it happen. I would love to. Like that meme that I put out there of Weiss saying like, I'm dummy thick was one of my favorite things. And I would love to do more work like that. I actually did a few like Weiss voice commissions, and people actually paid me a little bit to be Weiss for their Twitch streams. So like I gave them some narration of Weiss saying silly things, but I will do more. If you just send me a Ko-fi or 2 or 3 and you're just like, hey, I want Weiss to read something. I do a pretty okay Weiss impression, and it was really fun when I was doing that, and I will still do it, especially narrating smutty fanfiction as Weiss. Dear God. How long is this sentence, Jordan?
I got too into it. No. I got too into it.
No, give me the sentence, Jordan. Your time is up. Give me the sentence. In the sentence.
With
Jordan.
Okay, there.
10 seconds,
okay,
Jordan. Okay. I'm going to read it as...
Read it sexy.
I'm going to read it as Weiss first, and then I'm going to read it sexy. Rock Lee took Sakura by her pink hair and pressed her head firmly into the mattress. Her back arched, sweat dripping the slit of her back. She stared desiringly at Lee, saying, "Give me all your might, guy." "Yes, ma'am," Lee exclaimed, and motorboated her gluteus maximus with the fire of youth. All right, now I'm going to go for sexy.
Dripping. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go.
That is fucking
incredible.
There we go. Okay.
Right, there we go.
I'm gonna go for a sexy
hear your
read
sexy
now.
voice.
All right.
Gotta mute myself. There we go.
Okay. I can't. Okay. Rock Lee took Sakura by her pink hair and pressed her head firmly into the mattress. Her back arched, sweat dripping down the slit of her back. She stared desiringly at Lee, saying, "Give me all your might, Guy." "Yes, ma'am," Lee exclaimed, and motorboated her gluteus maximus with the fire. I think that was more narration.
Yeah, it
than
was.
sexy.
You need to say it
What
sexy.
What are your thoughts,
You need
Jordan?
to do it
What are
sexy.
your...
What was
be my
that?
Director.
That was
be
like
my
a
director.
fucking librarian. You need to be like... All right, let me put on my Isaac Hayes.
Okay, I'm going to give it some more passion. That was like my first
right.
take. You know, that's like the narration route. Okay. All right. Rock Lee took Sakura by her pink hair and pressed her head firmly into the mattress. Her back arched, sweat dripping down the slit of her back. She stared desiringly at Lee, saying, "Give me all your might, Guy." "Yes, ma'am," Lee exclaimed, and motorboated her gluteus maximus with the fire of youth. How was that, director? Was that better, director?
That was beautiful.
Do you need me to do another take?
Yeah, if you want to.
Do you have any notes?
Yeah, like, you know, just when she adds some, like, moans in when he, like, pushes her down, because, like, that's how...
Okay, add some moans, Okay. Thank you, director.
Yes.
All right. Rock Lee took Sakura by her pink hair and pressed her head firmly into the mattress. Her back arched, sweat dripping down the slit of her back. She stared desiringly at Lee, saying, "Give me all your might, Guy." "Yes, ma'am," Lee exclaimed, and motorboated her gluteus maximus with the fire of youth.
Oh, God. Goliath, calm down there. Okay, so anyways, let's see. Yeah, that was great. That was perfect.
All right. Actually, we are getting pretty close to the end, so I think this last question will be our final one, and then we had one more that we might save for next week.
Next week.
Or actually, this actually might be our last question.
What, this one we just did?
No, we have one more. Okay, we'll do this one more. Jordan, can you actually read this next one since it's more aimed at you?
Okay. All right. If you could do any subject.
Wait, just kidding. I want to read it. Gotcha.
Fuck. All right, fine. Do it.
All right. Cause there was one part in the beginning.
Yeah.
Hello, Katy and Jordan. I saw this one in our email, and so I was just like, oh, wait, I want to read this one. Hello, Katy and Jordan. I apologize ahead of time if this becomes long-winded. First of all, I wanted to say that this podcast is a perfect mix of all things I love. Your friendship is inspiring, and I truly hope you continue doing these episodes for a long time. They will definitely help a lot of people. Question 1. I'm a Canadian spoken word poet / hip hop artist transitioning into boxing. Feel free to Google me. I Googled him. I couldn't find him. I'm sorry. I couldn't find you, friend. I'm sorry. I've had 2 fights with 2 exhibitions as an amateur with aspirations to go pro. But just under a year ago, I dislocated my shoulder for the 5th to 10th time, and to be able to fight, I had to have major shoulder surgery. I am now all healed up with my comeback fight on June 15th. I'm currently in training, and this question is for Jordan. I have 2 concerns: making sure my shoulder is just as strong, if not stronger than before, and building endurance and explosiveness in my lower body so that I can float like a butterfly without getting tired, or at least getting the amount of muscle fatigue as possible, or the least amount of that as possible. What exercises would you recommend would benefit the most?
I have a whole Baki. I mean, I have a Baki, the grappler, Tough Like the Tunes, and a Hajime no Ippo, Tough Like the Tunes.
Hajime no
Ippo, Tough Like the Tunes. That would be so beneficial for that, because like what you really want to focus on is you want to focus on increasing the stability of your shoulder as well. So make sure you're doing all the band exercises the doctor gave you, because if you're having surgery, they obviously gave you like a bunch of rehab exercises to do to make sure the joint comes back stronger. So make sure you're doing all of those exercises and more. And if you feel like you want to improve like your strength of that area, then again, I'm not no doctor, hopefully you can do this, but like a thing that helped me was switching everything to a neutral grip. So like instead of doing a neutral grip is where your palms are facing each other, like it's like you're holding up two fists right in front of your face and the palms are just like facing each other, and then you just make a fist from them. So instead of doing like a standard where they're either, you know, like pointing up, where, man, dang, my personal trainer brain is like dipping out on me, where I was like, I know the proper term, whatever. You know, the standard bench press, I say switch the hand position to a neutral grip. And then I would say make sure when you're doing your leg exercises that you're doing plyometric leg exercises, like, you know, box jumps, plyo jumps, and tons of lunges, like alternating split squats and stuff like that. But also, like, the key thing about boxing that you said is just working on your footwork. So like make sure when you're going to the gym, you practice like where your coach, you say like, coach, I really want to focus on improving my footwork, because footwork is like really important for fighting and stuff like that. So make sure your coach is like giving you the proper access, because like I personally, I don't know how your foot technique works, because a lot of people have different sorts when they do it. So just make sure you find what type of style works best for you. And then remember, like, if you're wanting to build up stamina and cardio and legs, it just becomes from like gradually increasing. So if you're trying to do like what is it, like trying to improve that stuff, like focus on like increasing by minutes by that round. So for example, let's say you can run 30 minutes and 30 minutes is your max. The next time you run, try to run 32 minutes and like try to like get to that no matter what, and then like see if you're dying. Then try that for a bit, and then try to increase that another 2, and then just gradually keep increasing them, and that's going to help your stamina go up and give you more cardio and give you more strength. So make sure you're doing that.
Yay! Yeah. Also, you should eat a bunch of food.
Yeah, a bunch of healthy foods. Food.
I don't know. I'm just talking out of my tummy here. But yeah, that was our last question, and Jordan handled that one, because I don't know much about that stuff. And there was another question in the email from the same guy that we will probably answer next week, because we are out of time.
Will we have a time limit now?
This is a great way to end today's episode. Well, I guess not really.
Okay, yeah. Well, we like to keep you on your toes, like anime and Game of Thrones.
Yeah, we'll keep you on your toes.
Yeah, there you
go. So, Jordan, where can they find you?
On YouTube at Jaxblade, Facebook, Jordan Jaxblade Downs, Jaxblade on Jaxblade Fitness, Twitter, Jaxblade everywhere else. Or what about you, Crab Diet?
Yay! You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KaniDay or KaniDay Official, KaniDay Official. And then you can also find me on Kirby Productions page as an actor for Waishni and a bunch of other characters there. And you can find me on Dr. Crafty, where I'm a writer and I play Pepper the hostess. And that's pretty fun. And yeah, the music you heard in this episode was by What's My Name on Instagram and Soundcloud and whatnot. And also, I've been kind of editing in a fun new way, where I kind of put something at the beginning and the end of all the credits. So be sure to stay tuned if you like silliness that I add to stuff, because it's fun editing. Yay! And yeah, that is a wrap.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, we'll talk to y'all next week. I'm gonna write some more stuff for Katy. So Katy, can you read this for me, please?
Oh my God.
I mean, if you want to.
I'm going to strangle you, Billy Bob Joe.
Ignore the camera that's playing right now, but like just read this new thing I wrote.
Da 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 da. Sexy words. Okay, bye.
Seriously, you better read this shit. And all right, stop recording. Yeah, that was great. That was perfect.